Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 6, I want to say, of the playthrough. I'm really excited to get back into it. I've been having a lot of fun with this game. So, we have this large beacon of light beckoning us towards the next mechanic, which is Mingle Shape. Neighboring regions must have different shapes, which is essentially a global version of Delta. Okay. We know this. Okay, that just completes. So they continue to have blue rays of light as long as they're the tutorial of that mechanic, I guess. We're in shape bank world, so everything must be one of two shapes. This can't be a 1x3, so it must be a 2x2, which has to extend like this. Now these have to connect. This has to be a 2x2. This has to be a 1x3, and so does that. It's like quite a powerful mechanic, this. So in this shape bank world, oh wait, this is given, sorry. Okay. So that forces a lot of things because this has to expand, it can't be a 1x1. And now the only shape it can represent here is a 1x2. This now is forced to not be either of those shapes, so it has to be this. This now has to be that, this has to be this. This has to expand, and now it's forced to be this. And there we go. That's very nice. That's very, very nice. Alright, shape bank world. And this can only be one thing. And it cannot expand this way because it breaks this tile. So it must do this. Done. Alright, tutorial complete. Oh, and I suppose probably everything was locked. I didn't take a close look, but probably everything was locked until we completed the 4 tutorial boxes. After we completed them, I assume then all of these unlocked. And so I guess that's why they have such a large beacon of light, is because they signal you that, hey, if you're wondering why all this area is locked, is because you need to come and do this tutorial first. So that's cool. Let us proceed. So now we get into the puzzles where Mingle Shape alone. Oh look, you can see the windmill's shadow. That's pretty cool. We get to the part of the puzzle, or we get to the puzzles where Mingle Shape alone carries the whole solution. Because now this has to expand, and so does this. And this must happen, this must happen. And now what we're left with is that this... Wait, this also has to expand. And this has to... Wait, no, hold on. This doesn't have to expand, neither does that. So let's just take stock for a moment. Oh, sorry, okay, I was not paying attention. This causes that, and this causes this. So now this is forced to expand, and this is also forced to expand, and this must happen. And so now this must expand. Okay. Yeah, it's important to pay attention to the borders. I guess I'll do these side ones. Oh, rose window and Mingle Shape. We're working with 3 symbols here. So this happens. This now can't have that shape, so it has to do this. This has to expand. This cannot do that because then the shape it would make would be bad, so it must do this. And so now it must do this, but it can't finish. It must pick something else up. Also, this has to expand. This happens. It still needs a triangle, so that happens. This now can't go there, so this happens. And now this can't cut that off, so this happens, but it can be the same shape as... Oh, and it still needs a triangle. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. The reason it cannot go there is not because it would cut this off. It's because it would cut one of these two off. Because technically it could join to this if this wasn't here. So the reason it goes up is more nuanced. It cannot go up is more nuanced. So now it can be the same shape and still needs a triangle. So for both reasons it must expand. And now it can't connect to that because it would cut this off. So it must go there. And now it's complete. This has to go, can't go there, this must expand, can't go there, must expand, cannot go there, that's done, that's done. Cool. Here we have 4 shapes, right? 1, 2, 3, no, 5 shapes. Hexagon is number 5. And this happens, this happens. And we know we only have 2 regions, and we know that they must be different shapes, which means that this cannot happen. Which means that we know that this belongs to the left side. Is there a way? So this is one color. And this is the other color. There are only 2 colors on this board. And now because of the geometry, we can't put red here and blue here. So it must be that blue is here and red is here. And so now, at the same time, we know that one of these 2 is blue and one of these 2 is red, right? Or no, that's not true. Because, well, no, hold on. These can't be both red and these cannot be both blue. And the reason isn't only because of Mingle Shape. More specifically, Mingle Shape on its own doesn't require that both these can be blue because blue could still expand, but it's Rose Windows instead. Rose Windows together with Mingle Shape is what makes it so that these 2 can't be blue and these 2 can't be red. Because if these 2 are red, you can't go red that way, and so you're forced to have the same shape twice. And the same is true with blue. Blue can't go there, so you're forced to have the same shape. So that means that we have at least 1 blue here and at least 1 red here. Which means that we will have one of 2 possibilities. Either this or this. Because we can't have... we cannot have this. Yeah. We cannot have that and we cannot have this. Because it would break. Because now red can't go there and blue can't go there. So we either live in this world or in this world. The other thing to note is that I think this cannot be red, right? Because if this was red, you would either live in this world, in which case this blue cuts this red off. So you would be forced to live in this world, but now this blue cuts this off. Because this can't pick that up because red already has that. So that means that this must be blue and this must be red. Okay. Oh, and this is blue. So, I think now this can't be blue, can it? Or is it this? There's still some symmetry stuff going on, isn't there? Yeah, I think is this still symmetrical? I think it is, isn't it? Oh yeah, sorry. So I wasn't paying enough attention. So it's not just enough for us to say that this happens. In fact, more has to happen. And blue can't go further in. Only red can. Red can go further in there, so... Yeah, sorry. So one of them has to take more space from the other, because if we do this, they're still even. One of them has to take more space, and blue cannot. Because if blue tries to take more space here, it cuts that off, and it can't take more space here because this is in the way. So only red can, and it can't do it like this, so it must do it like that. And now this has to be blue. And now this has to expand, this has to expand. Red can't take any more space, so the puzzle should be done now. Nice. Mingle Shape polyomino. So this can't go here, so it must go there. This can't go here. This can't touch that, so it must go this way. And now, because of its shape, once it takes a step, it has to continue away from the origin. So it must do that. This now can't go up or left, so it must do this. Ones and twos. Okay, this can't go here because it would break this tile. Because that tile would have to be a one-off, and that breaks that. So this can't go that way. And we know it's a two tile. So once it can go this way, it must be a one tile. So now this must be a two tile. And so does that. So this can't go either way because it would touch a two tile. And similarly, this can't belong to a two tile, so it must be a one tile. Okay. Ones and threes. Is there any tile that cannot be a 3? Is there any tile that cannot be surrounded by enough 3s? This can't be a 1 because it can't be surrounded by a 3 on that side. Same logic here. Or wait, no, sorry. Yeah, so, sorry. This can be a 1. That also cannot be a 1. So that's a 3, that's a 3, that's a 1. So that's a 3. That's a 3. This always happens, so that's a 1, that's a 1. So that's a 3, and it can't go expand that way. So this happens, same is true here. So that's a 1, that's a 1. That's a 3, and that's a 3 in some direction. So is that. So is that. It can't touch this. So it goes down. That's a 1. That has to be a 3, so that completes. That's a 1. That's a 3. Could go either way. And in both cases, it forces this to be a 1. So that's a 3 that cannot touch this, so that happens. And this has to be a 1, so that happens. That's a 3 and so is that, so they have to be the same 3. Otherwise they would touch. That's a 3 and that's too large, so they can't touch here, so that's a 1. And we're done. Ones and T's. Interesting. Well, let's take a corner and ask what happens if it's a 1? Well, okay, I mean, I already see the solution through pattern recognition. It's this. But let's derive it logically. So let's ask what happens if this is a T. Well, if it's a T, then it would force ones like that. And this breaks. Okay, but how can we do that logically without? Because this could also happen, right? Oh, okay, wait. I see something now. What I see is any T in the board cannot have its back exposed on the inside of the board, because then it would force that. So that means, and we know that there has to be at least one T on the board, because otherwise the whole board is just ones, which breaks Mingle. So that means that all the T's that exist on the board can only be their back, their 1x3s has to be along the edge of the board, which means that this can never be a T, because a T can't reach that without putting a 1x3 off the edge. So that means that step 1 is that we know this. And this means that all of these have to belong to T's, but we also know that because T's can't have their 1x3s off the edge of the board, this has to in all cases be the protrusion from the T. So for all of these, well, yeah, for all of these, we know that this notch is in the middle, so therefore this is exactly like this for all of them. And that completes the puzzle with logic. Wonderful. Okay. What have we here? Okay, this, because we live in shape bank world with the smallest shape being size 3, it means that this has to expand, this has to expand, and now it's forced to be that. So this has to expand, and it cannot be a 3-tiler, so it must be a 5-tiler, which can only be like that, which means that's a 3-tiler, that's a 3-tiler. That's also a 3-tiler that cannot go up there. So that's a 5-tiler, and that can only exist like this. All of these have to be 3-tilers around that. That has to be a 3-tiler, that has to be a 5-tiler, so they cannot touch. So 5-tiler has to come out here. That's a 3-tiler. This has to come out, and it's forced now to be a 5-tiler, which is fine. And we're done. Ready to mingle, says the achievement. Restore the mingle shape window. Let's continue. Shape bank world with 2 and 3 tilers. So corner has to expand. And it could be a 2-tiler, it doesn't break anything. Can it be a 3-tiler as well? If it's a 3-tiler, it cannot be a 3-tiler in this direction, because this would cause that tile to not be able to be anything. But it could be a 3-tiler like this. Oh, but I guess what that means is that it never goes here. We already knew that just from the shape bank world situation. But we now also know that it can't go there, so this happens. And because it's a 3-tile... Oh, no, wait, we don't know. But either way, this will have to expand, and that happens. And so this could be a 3-tiler. But it cannot be a 2-tiler, and we can see that with look ahead. Because if it's a 2-tiler, that has to be a 3-tiler then. And well, before I even look that far ahead, let me say something else, which is whatever this is can't go there. Like, we have to draw this here, and the reason we have to do that is because if we were to connect these two, oh no, that's not true, sorry. That's not true. Because this could still be like this and it's fine. Okay, never mind. But what that does mean is that these two always have to connect. Because if we draw this, the puzzle breaks. Because now this has to expand, they can't connect. And both of them now can only be a 2-tiler. So that means that we can draw this in. Okay, and now that we've drawn this in, we know this. Oh yeah, we also knew this over here. So from here, what do we know? Also, I think that logic exists here, doesn't it? Or maybe not. No, maybe not. So these are, both of these are the same shape. So let's do some things. Alpha, beta. Alpha. I believe this... Yeah, this always connects here. Because if we drew this, then this would cause two 1x2s. So that happens, and I guess the same is true here, isn't it? If we draw that... on this side that's not necessarily the case. But it is the case on this side. I think I see another thing, which is that this can't go this way. Because if it goes this way, this becomes a 1x1. So this must happen, which means this must happen. Which means this is alpha. And if this is alpha and this is alpha, they must connect. So alpha is now 1x3. And beta is now 1x2. And we can clear our notes. Wait. I didn't see this. Wait, we were given this from the beginning. Well, look, it's good to know that this puzzle is solvable, at least until this point, without the given thing. I wonder if it's solvable all the way. Let's see, actually. Let's ignore this for a second and see if this puzzle is solvable without this part. So we know this is 1x2 and so is that. Which means either this is exactly that, or the puzzle breaks, right? Because what I'm trying to say is this. Let's consider this border here. If I draw this border in, We know both of these are 1x2s, and this has to expand, so it has to become that, right? So that's fine. But if I do this, the puzzle breaks. Reason being is that this now has to be a 3 tiler. But also this is a 1x2 and it blocks that, which means that this can't go there, which means it must go here, and it's surrounded by a 3 tiler into a 2 tiler. This has to be a 3 tiler, 2 tiler. The puzzle is actually solvable without this part here. That's really funny. I'm gonna take note of that. Let me take a screenshot here. So we can actually delete this. Let me try to do this nicely. Let me just double check the logic to make sure it is indeed solvable without that part, and that I didn't make a mistake somewhere. So we know that this must expand, right? And we know it can't go here, because then this would cause this tile to see both shapes. So we know this. That has to expand. And now we knew that we know this, of course. And here we knew that this can't be horizontal. Or wait, what did we know? Or no, sorry, we knew that we can't draw this, because then the puzzle we break for something. So we knew this has to happen. And then this is where we did alpha beta, didn't we? Alpha beta, beta, and we of course also know this. So alpha, alpha. And again, we knew that we cannot draw this because this happens. So that happens. And then oh, and then we also knew this cannot happen. So that had to happen. And this is where the puzzle solves, is that this has to be alpha, but it also has to expand. And so this can't happen. And so this has to happen, and it made the betas be 1x2s and the alphas, yeah. And from here I managed to solve it, because this is a 1x2, that's a 1x2, and it can't, this one cannot go this way because it would break this. So it had to go that way, and then from there the puzzle solved. Okay. So I'm gonna pause the video and post this on Discord as a fun fact that it's solvable without that center part. Alrighty, so that was fun. Oops. Let us continue. Mingle Shape polyomino. Right, so these all have to be separate. And none of these can expand north, so this happens. Similarly, neither of those can expand in that direction. So that can't do that. Oh no, wait. Ugh, all of this is wrong. Because this can happen. That can happen, that can happen. Okay. My bad. My bad. My bad. So, how to get started with this puzzle then? Well, I guess let's ask. Oh no, sorry. What am I doing? It's the opposite of what I said. This border cannot exist. Yeah, sorry. So this has to happen for all of them. And now this shape cannot satisfy itself if it touches here or here. So this has to happen. And then because this and this are different shapes, they cannot visit each other. And similarly, this couldn't be a part of that, so this has to happen. Same thing between these two regions, so they cannot touch. And now this can't go there, but that doesn't mean that it can't go there, though. It could still go there, I think. Or can it? Yeah, it can. And also these can't be a part of the same, so this happens. And now this one can only be one thing. Same for this. No, this one can still be multiple things, but this can only be one thing because we know that this part that we're looking at here, it cannot contain this tile here or that tile. So it must be, and it also cannot be those two tiles. It can only be these two tiles, which means that off one of them, we do that and that. Can't be off this one, so it must be off this one. So this has to happen. And now here, again, we need to have a 1x3 somewhere attached to these two, and it cannot be here. So it must, but it cannot be there either. Which means that it must be like this. So this happens. Here, again, we need a 1x3 somewhere. Can't be there. Cannot be there because these belong together. Cannot be there either. Cannot be there either. So the 1x3 section can only be here. And then it can't have that or that. So the part that comes off at the center must be there, and the part that comes at the end must be there. These can't go that way. This needs to have a 1x3 somewhere. The only place it can have it is here. And same thing for this. The only place it's 1x3 can be here. Done. Mingle Shape. Okay, so alpha, beta. This can be a third thing, maybe. Oh wait, no, hold on. Let's first take stock of this board and let us ask ourselves, how many possible shapes could even exist on this board? Here, a 2x2 can exist, but elsewhere on the board, only 1x1s, 1x2s, and 1x3s can exist. So in these three corner areas, only 3 types of shapes can exist. And also this cannot be a 1x1. And it also cannot be a 1x2 either. So, and that's true of these tiles, and these tiles. In all of these tiles, both tiles cannot be a 1x1. Because if they were, they would cause another 1x1. And they cannot be neither horizontal nor vertical 1x2s, because vertical 1x2 causes another 1x2, horizontal 1x2 causes two 1x1s. So for all of these double tiles, they can't be 1x1 and they can't be vertical 1x2, which means that they must connect to each other, and they can't be 1x2s horizontally either. So they also then must become 3-tilers, because none of them can be 2x2s due to the border. So, because they're all 3-tilers, this can't expand that way. So that has to be a 1x1. So that can't be a 1x1. And this now has to be a 1x1. And then... oh, this is a case where the puzzle completes itself before I'm done. Well, I wasn't done, so... so now in here, we know this can be composed of two 1x2s. So either it's composed of a 1x1 and a 3-tiler, but it can't be because none of these can be 3-tilers. So none of these can be 3-tilers or 1x2s. So they can either be 1x1s or all be 2x2s together. But because we can't have more than 1x1 in this 2x2, because all three of these have to either be 1x1s or 2x2s. None of them are 1x1s, so they're all 2x2s. Good. We live in Shape Bank world. So this now has to, both of these have to expand. This now has been completed. This has now become a 3-tiler, and this cannot be a 1-tiler, so it must expand, and this is now complete. This can't go there because it breaks, because then it's forced to become a 3-tiler and it already touches one, so it must be like that. This can't go that way, so it must go up. And this can't be a 1x1, so it must go up. This has to do that. Okay. This already sees two possible shapes out of the three that can exist. So this, either that happens, or that happens, or that happens. Any are still possible, but we know its shape. This can't go there because then it completes and touches itself, or touches another instance. This can't go that way, it must go that way. This already sees two shapes, so this is specifically this shape. Now, let's ask about this tile. So this tile cannot be a 1x1 because it forces that. So it's at least a 1x2, and it can be a 1x3 because, or sorry, a 3-tiler because it has no space for that. So it's exactly a 1x2, but it can't be a 1x2 there, so it must be a 1x2 there. Now this can't be a 1x2, and it also has no space to be a 3-tiler, so it's a 1x1. So this already sees two shapes. It must be the third, which is a 1x2. I wasn't done. That's a 1x2. This now is either a 1x1 or a 3-tiler, but if it's a 1x1, it forces here. This tile has no room to be a 3-tiler. It also can't be a 1x1. So it would have to be a 1x2, but that would break the puzzle. So therefore, this can't be a 1x1. It also can't be a 1x2, so it must be a 1x3. Okay. Shape bank world with given 1x1s. This must expand, forced to now be a 3-tiler. This cannot expand in either direction because then it completes itself while touching another of its shape, so it must be a 1x1. Neither of these can expand to touch the other, so they have to expand away from each other. This touches a 1x1, so it has to expand. Cannot now complete, so it has to be a 3-tiler. This can't expand that way or this way because it would touch itself. Sorry for the wording. This already sees 2 possible shapes, so it must be the 3rd. This sees 2 possible shapes, so it must be the 3rd. This can't expand that way. This can be a 1x1. It could either be that or that. If it is this sees 2 shapes already and it breaks because it has to touch that. So this can't expand that way, it must do this. Ah, wait. I think I made a mistake. Because this is also possible. Okay, never mind. So it's either that or that. Okay, this has to expand because it sees that, and it can't go that far. This sees that, so it has to expand. And it can't go there. So now one of these 2 will have to take that, and either way this will get locked. This has to expand, and it can't be a... Or no, sorry, it could just be a 1x1. This has to either do that, or that, or that. Oh wait, this one can't be a 1x1, so it expanded, but now it touches both this and this, so it has to be this exactly. Okay, so now this can't expand south. So now it's either that... Oh, it also cannot expand north, so it must be exactly this, which causes this to happen. This sees 3 shapes. It has to be a 3-tiler, but it cannot expand that way, so it must do that. This... that's a 3-tiler. Oh, this can't be a 1x1, it can't be a 3-tiler, so it must be... So because it can't be a 1x1, it must expand, but it can't be a 3-tiler, so it must complete here. Now this he sees both shapes, so it must be a 3-tiler, which completes this. That's not a 1-tiler, so it must expand, and now it's complete. That's not a 3-tiler. It could be... Okay, this can't be a 1-tiler, it must be a 1x2. But it can't be a 1x2 like this, because then this here can't be a 1x1 because it forces another 1x1, and it can be a 1x2 because of all of this stuff. So this has to be exactly this. It can't be a 3-tiler, so it must be that, and that completes the puzzle. Nice. We need 3 more to metallicize. I was gonna skip this because there's a locked box next to it, but I guess we can do these 2 and then that, and that will unlock this, and then we can continue. We are not in shape bank world, so corners don't have to expand necessarily. Okay, this has to visit that because it will have to do either that or that, and in both cases it can't not be a part of that, so this is forced to do that exactly. Okay. Now this cannot pick this up, because if it does, it has to either finish like that or like that, and neither is good. So that happens, and once that happens, it can't go here because of that. So this happens. So it will either do that or that. That would force this to do this. Let's ask about this. Right, this can never go here because it can't pick both of those up. So that happens. Oh, and it also touches this, obviously. So that happens. Okay, this one cannot go here. So that happens, and that causes this to happen. So now this cannot go there, so it must finish. Now this also can't go there due to multiple reasons, so that happens. So this must at least happen, and it cannot touch this, so this happens. Now this cannot go here or here, so that happens. It also, from the beginning, we already knew that neither of those can go there. So this has to do exactly this. Now this can't go this way. It also can't go there because it cannot visit both of those. Also, these also can't go towards each other. This also now cannot go this way. This can't go up. This has to expand. And now it can't expand away from that, so it has to pick that up. Now the puzzle will abruptly complete itself, but that's fine because these all have to be... None of these can be 1x1s. Okay. No shape bank world. Okay, so... these are interesting. Neither of them can be horizontal. So this can't go that way. That can go out that way, but neither of them... Sorry, they can't be horizontal towards each other. They also can't be vertical towards each other. So this happens. And now this cannot happen, because then this can't be a 1x2 or 1x1, so it just breaks. So this happens and that happens. Now that cannot be a 1x1 because this would have to be a 1x2 or larger, but at most it's a 1x2, but that breaks. So this can be a 1x1. It's not a 1x2 either, so it must be this. Now this tile well, this can't go north. Okay, it also can't go west, because then this in here cannot be anything. It can't be two 1x1s, but it also cannot be a 1x2, so this has to do that. And now whether it does that or that, either way, this cannot belong to that, so that happens. Now this can't go in here, so it has to do this. Now this can't do that or that. Okay. What else? What else do we know? So if this goes horizontal, then it puts a lot of pressure on everything in here. Yeah, in fact, it just breaks the whole thing, right? But is that bifurcation though? What's the logical proof of this not being able to be horizontal? Maybe it's instead about this not being able to be horizontal. But that still feels like bifurcation to me. Well, I guess I'll just do it though. I need to make the claim that this can't go there. Because if it does, then this dies. And so we draw that in. And so this goes either there or there. Either way it sees this. So this can belong to that, which causes this and this. That can be a 1x1. So it must go there, but it also can't be a 1x2. So now this either goes like that or like that. Either way, this well, we don't know more than that yet. Okay, this can't be a 1x1, because if it is, then in here the puzzle breaks. So or sorry, rather I should say this can't be a border. Because if that's a border, the puzzle breaks here. So if that's not a border, these have to connect. This could still be a border because that can expand that way. What else do we know? Oh. I think I see another thing. Yeah, I think I see something, which has to do with these two. So this, I can see that this can't be in that orientation. Because if this is in this orientation, this has to do that, and now there are two tiles here that can't be 1x1s or 1x2s, just breaks. So this has to be horizontal, which means this has to be vertical, which means this has to be horizontal. And now this can't be a 1x1. Or rather this can't be a border. So that happens. There has to be some logic that completes this area. Oh yeah, the logic is that this can't be vertical now. So that has to be horizontal. None of those can be 1x1s. So they have to connect. This cannot be a border. So that has to happen, but now this has to be vertical. And this can't be... We already knew that it can't be a 1x1 or a 1x2, so it had to be at least a 3-tiler, and now it's forced to be a 3-tiler like that. Same is true here, and same is true of this. So now the puzzle is done. Nice. we do not have shape bank. These cannot belong to the same region. So this has to do that. This happens. This cannot expand this way. This cannot expand that way. This needs to have a 3-tile component, which can only exist here, because that doesn't visit it. It has no space in this row to contain it, and it has no space vertically, so it must be exactly this. These can't be 1-tiles, so it has to be that. This has to do this. Now this can't visit either that or that, and it can't expand east, so it must be this. Now this again can't do that. It has to do that, and it will have to turn up or down. It can't turn down because it would force this to expand this way, and then it can't have a vertical 1x3, so it would have to go further, but then it would break, so it has to go up. This can only fit a 1x3 exactly here, so that happens. These are confirmed 1x1s. This can't have its 1x3 here, so it's either here like that, or it's here like that. Either way, it visits this tile. Now, this is acceptable. And this, I think, is also acceptable. Let's look at this one. This can't have its it can't have its 1x3 vertically because that would only fit here and it would touch that. So it needs its 1x3 horizontally. It can't be here because then it can't pick that up. So it has to be exactly this. Those are confirmed 1x3s. Now this can't exist like that, so it must exist like this. This is confirmed 1x2. Now this can't go that way. That's confirmed 1x2, and the puzzle is done. Metallicized, and we can continue. No shape bank. Those are different. This can't happen, so this must happen, and therefore this has to happen. This can be either, it can't be that because it would touch that, so it must be exactly this. This can't now go there or there. That's confirmed. That can't go there, so it must do this. It can't go there, so it must do this. This is confirmed 1x2. This one has to either visit this or this, which means that in both cases, this will visit that, but now it has to visit this, because if it doesn't, this has no room to expand, so it has to be this. And now this can't expand in either of those directions, so it must be exactly this. Okay, this cannot go this way, so it needs to... It can either do that or this. This cannot be horizontal because it breaks that off. So this one is vertical, which means that it's at least those. So now this one, it can't be that. So it just can't go up altogether because it can't go in either way. So now it always expands this far and it's blocked there. So it has to be exactly this and this. This now has to be horizontal, and it's at least this. So now this is forced to be that. This is forced to be this. Done. That's a boss puzzle. There's a hidden puzzle in here. We are in Shape Bank world. Only these 3 shapes are possible. Okay. Interesting. Okay, these 2 are different colors. Because they can't be in the same. And so this is kind of doesn't have much space. Well, let's look at this one. This one could technically be that, so it doesn't necessarily need to go up. It could also be this, although that would block that in. So I think that's proof that it can't go here, because the moment it goes there, because that hits a corner, it must be one of the like on this shape, there are only 2 tiles that only have one neighbor, which are these edges, and both edges lead into exactly this. And this would break this one, because this has no room to expand and has no room for its 2x2. So we know that this happens. And again, I think we know that this has to happen. Or sorry, we know that this cannot happen, I wanted to say, because if that happens, then we either exist in this world or in this world. But either way, already once this does that, this has no room for its 2x2. So that has to be like that, and we know that whenever this has a part that's only one neighbor, it forces this. Now the 2x2 for this can exactly only be here. The 1x1 part of it can still be in different places. Could be in any of those tiles. What else do we know? We know that... We know that neither of these, like that can't do that, and this can't do that, but I'm not sure if that's very helpful. Oh, sorry. We know something. We know this tile, it's shape bank, so it must expand. So this happens. And similarly here. And also this now cannot happen. So it has to belong either to that or to that. Which means that either we live in this world or we live in this world. But either way, this happens. And then it's either that or that. Okay, I believe this cannot happen. Because if that happens, we know that we're in a shape bank world where 1x1s are not possible. So both of these would have to expand. But because this happens, this is now a broken shape because there's no shape that can do that. So this can't happen, so that must happen. And now... Now I believe this must happen, because if we do this, no shape can satisfy this. And if we do that, again, no shape can satisfy that. So we must do that. And now I believe we can't do this. Or no, we could, because that's still possible. No. Or no, yeah, it is, it is. It is. Okay, so we don't know more. All we know is that if we do that, we have to do this. Ah, wait, I think I see something. I think I see that this has to belong to that. Because if we do this, we cannot have this be either like that or like that, because these tiles are broken. And so therefore we must have it be like this or like this. This is not possible. So it would need to then be like this. But oh no, that's yeah, so the reason why this is not okay is because this now cannot be anything. Because it can't be that or that. Oh, but it can still be this. Sorry, I forgot about that. Okay, never mind. Let's look elsewhere. So this can be that or that. Those are the only two options. Either way, it's not this. So this must be that shape. The 6 tiler, because it already sees the 5 tiler and the 4 tiler. So it's a 6 tiler, and this tile can only have, well, this tile is, it can still be a lot of things. That's possible. That's possible. That's possible. I think those are the options. Although this, no, that's not possible. Yeah, because wait, am I claiming that this always has to go there? I think I am claiming that. This is no good, because now this is either this or this, and both are bad. So I am claiming that this always has to go here, and because we know this can't belong to that, this must happen. And now this must expand, and because it's a corner, it has to do this. And so now this cannot be vertical. So it must be that. Ah, and also this can't be this, because this now can't be anything. So yeah, so this can't go down. And now this must escape, and it must be specifically a 6 tiler. So it must be this. So this now can only be this. And now this tile can't belong to this shape, because it would only do that and it would cut that off. So it must belong to a 5 tiler. And the 5 tiler has to pick this up, because if it doesn't pick this up, it would be forced to be this, which would cut that off. So these are together, and then therefore, and they have to be a part of a 2x2, because so they have to do that, and they can't cut that off, so they must go there as well. And now that forces the orientation here. That's forced now as well. And now this can't expand there, and it can't expand there either, so it has to do that. This is forced. This has to come out, that has to come out. Can't be a part of that. Must go there and be that. This can't go there. So, therefore it also can't go there either. So this happens, therefore that happens. That has to come out, and its shape is now forced. This, the only way it can avoid that is if it cuts it off. Because this comes out and that comes out and they can't be together, and now this can't be any shape. So these two have to be together and their shape is now given. It has to be the 5-tiler. And the 5-tiler needs its 2x2. And it can't go there, so it must go here. And then the puzzle is broken. Damn it. Why is it broken? Oh my god, dude. Why is it broken? What did I do wrong, man? That's so frustrating. This has to belong to one of those. If it belongs to this, then it makes that shape. If it belongs to this, then it makes that shape. Either way, these two belong together. Because they belong together, they must belong to this. Because if they don't, this can't have a 2x2 anywhere. So this has to happen. And this must be the edge, so that must be the 2x2. This gets forced like this now. This has to expand, and now it has to belong to one of these two. If it belongs to this, then it makes this shape specifically. And if it belongs to this, then it makes this shape specifically. Either way, it has to pick that up. This can't be this shape because it's touching it, but it also can't be this. And that's the only way it could have been a Tetris T. So therefore it must be this shape. And it can't avoid visiting this, because if it tries to be the 5-tiler without visiting that, it would have to make this and it would cut that off. So these have to connect. And we know that it's this shape, and so we also know that the 2x2 has to be here, because it can't be... yeah, the 2x2 can't be elsewhere. So that's the 2x2. And then it can still be that, that, or that. Although it cannot be this because it would cut this off. So... it could still be this or this, though. This tile has to, I think, belong to that, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Or, I think, yes, it does. Because if it doesn't, then it's forced to make this shape. Ah, but that's probably still fine, actually. Never mind. What else do we know? Let's see what happens if we do that. This couldn't go here. So it would be forced to go exactly here. And then we would know that this has to be specifically this shape, and that would break this. Because, sorry, it would break these tiles. So that means that this, we can't put this border here, I believe, because this can't be that. It cannot be this. And the reason it cannot be that is because this sees those two. So it would have to be a 6-tiler. The only way it can be a 6-tiler is like that. And that would force this to be that, and that would cause issues. So this can't be vertical. Sorry, we can't put that border there. So we have to do this. And if this is now... I think it can't, in general, can't do this, right? Because that would force this, and this can't be any shape. So I think in general this can't happen. Oh, and so we know this has to be this. I think we knew that already. And so this now has to be this exactly. This is forced to be this. This is now forced to be that. This can't expand up, it has to go there. This is a 6-tiler. This must come out, this must come out. This can't touch there, so this happens and this happens. This can't expand that far, so it must be exactly this. This has to be a Tetris T. It can only fulfill that like this. This cannot avoid visiting that, because then it would either do that, or that, or that. In all cases is bad, so it must visit that, and so now it must be a 5-tiler, and the 2x2 of that must be there, and then it can either go there or there. It cannot go there. This must be a part of a 5-tiler as well, and it sees this one, so this must go here. This has to expand. This must be a part of a 5-tiler, and it cannot go there, so it must expand. And so we cannot put its 2x2 here because it would isolate 2 lonesome tiles, so we must put its 2x2 here. I wasn't done. And so now we're left with... I was not done. So now this must expand. And now we have 2 unclaimed tiles, but both of these regions still need at least 2 tiles because the smallest possible shape is size 4. So they must be a part of the same region, therefore. And we're done. Okay, I don't know. I think what I did wrong the first time was that I think here I just said it can't go there, so it must go there, but I didn't see that it could still go here as well. That was a misplay. 4s and 6s. We'll do that in a sec. We live in Shape Bank World, so that has to expand, and now it can only be this. This... oh, and we're also a Mingle Shape, so this cannot happen. And this cannot happen because of... like, what I'm saying is that this cannot be a 1x2, because that would not be possible, and this would cause this to break. So this can't be a 1x2, so it must be at least this or this, and both of them cause that to happen. But then that happens. This can be a 1x2, so this must happen. And it can't be a 2x2. So it either goes that far or that far, but either way it can't go there or there. We know that this is not a 2x2, so this must be a 2x2. So this happens. And if this goes vertical, then this would have to be a 2 by 2 vertical as well. And if it goes horizontal, that happens. So these two always join together. And then this tile, this cannot happen because this is either a 1 by 2 or it belongs to this. Because it can be a part of a 2 by 2, which means this and this happens. And this now always sees a 1 by 2. It could see another 1 by 2, but either way it's at least a 2 by 2. And now these two tiles are always together, either as a part of this or as a 1 by 2, but either way this happens. Okay. What else? This can't be a 1 by 2 like this. But it could be a 1 by 2 like that. And it could still be this. No, it can't because this. Oh, sorry. This has to be a 1 by 2 because it sees a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 3. So it's a 1 by 2 and it can be a 1 by 2 only vertically. It can't go horizontally because it breaks that. So it has to be this. This tile has to be a 2 by 3. So like that. This can only be a 1 by 2. This tile has to be a 2 by 2. Can only be that. This tile has to be a 2 by 3 and it can only go this way. And so now that's 1 by 2. This tile has to be a 1 by 2 and it cannot go there like that because it isolates this. This tile has to be a 2 by 2, which causes this to happen. This tile has to be a 1 by 2, can't be horizontal. This tile has to be a 2 by 2. This tile has to be a 2 by 3, and we're done. Nice. I'm gonna take a quick break. Alrighty, I'm back. I was just looking at this. It's not just a windmill area, it's also like a farm. You can see rows of plantations. Shape bank world was given 1 by 1s. This is either a 1 by 1 or 1 by 3. If it's a 1 by 1, that's a 1 by 3. But either way, these two are together. And so either way, this is this thing. So now this is a 1 by 3. And this can't expand there, so it has to expand there. Shape bank world. This has to expand. Cannot expand there. This now has to be a 1 by 3. Can't be vertical, must be horizontal. This has to be this. This has to expand. Can't be a 1 by 3. This has to be a 1 by 1. If that's a 1 by 1, that expands. But then it would break because it couldn't stop there or visit that. So that's not a 1 by 1, so it expands. But it also can be a 1 by 2, so it has to do that. This now has to be a 1 by 2, can't expand south. This now has to be horizontal. If it goes here, it still has to go there anyway. This can't be horizontal, must be vertical. This is either a 1 by 1 or a 1 by 3. Either way, it can't be there. This is either 1 by 1, 1 by 3. 1 by 3 it cannot be, so it's a 1 by 1, so that's a 1 by 3. That's 1 by 2, therefore. That's a 1 by 1. That's a 1 by 2. That has to be a 1 by 1 because it can't be a 1 by 3 because it touches that, so it's a 1 by 1. Therefore, this must expand. This now has to be a 1 by 2. And this has to be a 1 by 3 because otherwise it would touch a 1 by 2, which it cannot. Yeah, that was an easy 4 difficulty one. Some other 4 difficulty ones take way longer, but this one just flowed, right? This one just flowed like butter. We're again in a shape bank world. But all that we know is that well, all that we know is that none of these central ones can reach the middle. Or the corner ones for that matter. So we know that this is either that or that. And in both cases... Well, let's look at this. That's not a 1 by 3. And it also... Can it be a 1 by 1? This would... Okay, hold on. So we know neither of these two are 1 by 3s. Because here, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. So neither of these are 1 by 3s. So either they're both 1 by 1s, or if one of them is a 1 by 2, the other has to be a 1 by 1. So there's always a 1 by 1 in here somewhere. Between those two. Which means that neither of these can be 1 by 1s. But neither of these can be 1 by 3s either. So these two are always 1 by 2s. Because this can also not be a 1 by 3. Because one of these at least is a 1 by 1. The reason why it can't be that neither is a 1 by 1 is because we already know that neither is a 1 by 3. So, but also not both can't be 1 by 2s either because they would see each other. So at least one of them is a 1 by 1. So the ones that they see, these two tiles are also always seen by at least one 1 by 1. So these two tiles are not 1 by 1s. Can they be 1 by 3s? No, 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 no. This can't be a 1 by 3. It must now only be a 1 by 2. And the same thing here. It must be a 1 by 2. So we know that these are 1 by 2s. So since both of these are 1 by 2s, neither of these can be 1 by 2s. Because if this is a 1 by 2 like that, this now breaks. Because now this can be a 1 by 1, but it also cannot be a 1 by 3 in any way. And the same is true here. This can't be a 1 by 2 either because it will cause the other to break. So both of these must be 1 by 1s. And now this has to be part of a 1 by 3. Because if it's not a 1 by 1, and if it's a 1 by 2, it can't go there. So if it goes there as a 1 by 2, then this has to go here. Oh no, that's possible. Sorry. What about this one? If it's a 1 by 2, it goes like that, which causes this. And that's still fine. I thought I had discovered something. Ah, but we can say that this is not a 1x1, at least. Though I'm not sure that that's very helpful to say. Ah, we can say this cannot happen, and I believe also this cannot happen. Because if this happens, then obviously this can't go vertically, so it will have to go horizontally, which would cause this to be blocked. This? Wait, no, that's fine. Because it can just do that, right? So this happens or this happens. If this happens, this must be that, and that has to be a 1x1. And that has to be this. If this happens, then this must be that. That has to be a 1x1. And that has to be this. And that has to be this. So this is either a 1x3, which goes that like that, or if it's a 1x2 that goes like that. This is either a 1x2 that goes like that, or it's a 1x3 that goes like this. What am I not seeing? Ah, this tile cannot be a 1x3. Because it can be vertical and it can be horizontal. So it's either a 1x1. This also can't be a 1x3. This also. And this also. So if none of these are 1x3s, they only consist of 1x1s and 1x2s. But we know, therefore, that if there is any 1x2 stuff in here, it can't be internal. It cannot be internal, which means that we can never join this, or this, or this, or this. So this must happen. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. Not my fault, okay? Lunark made me do this. Look, this can never happen. This can never happen, okay? Because now this if this has to be a 1x1 and this can't be anything. So if that can never happen, we have to draw this line. And now that logic repeats with all of the other pairs. This can never happen, this can never happen, this can never happen. So we have to draw these in, okay? I don't even know if this is the which way around it is. This is two mirrored versions of one of them means one thing, the other means another, I believe. Hopefully this is the other one. Let me just look it up while we're at it. Although I'm not sure I want to have that in my search history. Okay, it is the other one. And what does that other one mean? Or wait. So the clockwise one is the less appealing one. And the one we have here is non-clockwise, so which is very common in Buddhism, and it represents some things there. Okay. So it's fine, I guess. Anyway, so where were we? Where we were is that this is either 1 by 1 or 1 by 2. If it's a 1 by 1, then this will happen and this will happen. And then this will have to be that. And this will have to be that. And this will have to be a 1 by 2 like that. And this will have to be a 1 by 3, so it must belong to this. And this has to be that. But I'm bifurcating here, which I dislike. If it's a 1 by 2, then this stuff happens. Wait. Oh, I guess I see. So what I see is this. If this blocks this one, then this has to do that, which would cause this to not be able to exist vertically, which would cause it to be exactly this. But if this is a 1 by 1 instead, then this gets blocked anyway, so either way this has to be this. I'm just wondering why. Oh, okay, I see. It's because this one cannot be blocked from being vertical. Or yeah, this one can't be forced to be looking towards this. This one can be forced to be there. It can only be forced to not be there, whereas this one, yeah, okay. Anyway, where does that leave us? Well, I believe this can never happen. Because this would have to then stop, and then this area is broken. So this happens. And now this is something, and that's the other thing. So is that 1 by 1? That's 1 by 2. Oh, also this cannot happen now, so that happens. Oh, and now it can't be horizontal. So that happens. So now even if it goes there, still goes there. It can't go there. So it has to be exactly this. So now what we can do is the following. This is something. If it's a 2 by 1, it causes this to be a 1 by 1. And if it's a 1 by 1, it still causes that. So this always happens. And both alpha and beta see 1/3s. So here, this also can't be a 1/3, but alpha and beta already exist. So this is back to being alpha. And again, if alpha is this, then that's beta. And if alpha is that, then that's still beta. So that always happens. But also this is now beta. And so is that, because it's not a 1/3. And so this is alpha. And now this as well has to be alpha because of beta. Or no, it's not. Is it true? We know that both of these are alpha and beta. Well, I guess this could still be alpha and that beta, right? No, because then alpha is 1/2 and it sees that. So this cannot be beta. This one is alpha. This one is still alpha or beta. What else do we know? I guess this cannot belong to a 1/3. So it's alpha or beta. If it's alpha, it has to be like that. If it's beta, then we don't know. It can still be beta like this, right? No. Okay, wait. If it's... I think these can never join. Because if they join, we know they're beta, but then beta has to come out here, so these two can never join, because they also can't be alpha either. Okay, so we can draw this in here. So what does that mean? I think it means this... Does it mean this cannot be beta? Because if it is beta, then this has to be alpha like that. But then this has to be a 1/3, which it cannot be. So this just cannot be beta in general. So it has to not, and it can't be alpha either. So it must be a 1/3, and therefore this has to happen, and this has to happen, and this has to happen. And now this can't be vertical. And if it is forced to be horizontal, then it can't be that, so it must be exactly this. Now this can't be horizontal. And if it's vertical, it has to be exactly that. Now this can't be vertical. If it's horizontal, it must be this. Now this can't be horizontal, and if it's vertical, it must be this. Now this has to be horizontal, this has to be horizontal. We know these are 1/2s. That's 1/1. That's 1/2. That's 1/1. That's 1/2. Beta is now 1/2. And alpha is 1/1. Nice. That was a very nice puzzle. Hidden, kind of. Shape bank world. Given. This is for sure given because 1/1 is not possible. This has to be expanding, and this can be a 1/3, so it's done. This sees the other two, so it's this. This is a 1/2 in some orientation. This is a 1/2 in some orientation. This is not a 1/2. But it could be a 1x3. No, it cannot be a 1x3 because it breaks that tile. So this is not a 1x2 or a 1x3, so it's this. This now can't be a 1x2, but it can't be a 2x2 either, so it's a 1x3 and it must be vertical. This now has to be a 1x2. And I believe it cannot be like this, because now this has to... it breaks, so it has to be like that. That's a 1x2, has to go this way. This now is a 2x2. That's at least going this far. I'm not sure yet if it goes... This is a 1x3. It cannot be vertical because it forces the inside here to be a 1x3, which is no good. So it's like this. And this is a 1x2, but so is that, so they connect. That's a 2x2. That's a 1x2. Oh, sorry, this cannot be a 1x2 because then this is a 1x3, which is no good. So it's a 1x3, so this is now either a 2x2, which is like that, or if it's a 1x2, it could do that, but it can't because then it forces this to be a 1x3 and this tile breaks. So it cannot be a 1x2 horizontally, it cannot be a 1x3. If it's a 1x2, it's vertical. If it's not a 1x2, it's a 2x2. Either way, these two connect. Now... oh, sorry, this is a 1x2. If it's vertical, then that's a 1x3 and this tile breaks, so it can't be vertical, must be horizontal. This cannot be a 1x3. But it also can't be a 1x2, so it's a 2x2. That's a 1x2. It can't go horizontal because everything breaks, so it's a 1x2 vertical, and that leaves that being forced to be a 2x2. Because if it's a 1x2, then we have to put another 1x2, and that's no good. Done! Shape Bank World. That has to expand. And it can't go there. And that has to expand, and it cannot go there or there, which forces this and this. This has to be a 1x3, even if it goes there, it still goes there. This cannot be a 1x3 because that already is, so this is a part of a 1x2, either like this or like that. If it's like that, this is a 1x3 like this. If it's like that, then this has to at least expand there and be a 1x3, but either way, these two are together. This is a 1x3, 1x2. This is a 1x3, and it cannot be horizontal because this tile breaks, so it's a 1x3 vertical. We know this is a 1x3, can't go there. So it must go here, forces it to be a 1x2, 1x3, 1x2, 1x2, 1x3, 1x2. And this can't be a 1x3 horizontal, must be vertical. And those are all both forced to be 1x2s. Shape Bank World. This cannot be this shape because it cuts that off, so it must be this shape. Or, sorry. It can also be this. No, it can't be that shape because this breaks. Okay, so this can't be this shape. It must be this shape either like this or like this. But it can't do it like this because this tile breaks. So it must do it like that. Now this tile can't be this shape, so it must be... it can't be LJ, so it must be SZ. It can only do SZ like this. This now must be LJ. It can't have its 1x3 horizontal. Also, this comes out. It could have its 1x3 horizontal, sorry. This comes out. That's a 1x3, or sorry, it's an LJ, I wanted to say. Now this comes out. Okay, this can't be LJ because both break, so it's an SZ, has to be that. That comes out, can't be SZ. Also, that comes out LJ. That comes out, has to be LJ. Both are LJ, must be the same. I want them to be red. That's an SZ. That's an LJ, as is that, so they must connect. What are these colors? Both are LJ, so they must connect. And I believe... Yeah, so these are both LJs, these also connect. So these two regions are both LJs, so they cannot see each other because they cannot be the same region. So now it needs its vertical either here or here. If it's here, it cuts those off, so that's no good. So it must be here. So now this now cannot be LJ, because the only way it could do it is like that, which is no good, or like this, which cuts those off. So it's just not LJ, so it's SZ, and it can only do that like this. This is now LJ, cannot expand south. So this is now SZ, cannot cut that off, so it's SZ like that, and these are both LJs like this. Shape Bank World. This is not a plus. So it's 3 tiler. Cannot do that. Oh, by the way, I need to remember to... Right now, I'm just assuming they're all Mingle Shape, which is a decent assumption because we're in the Mingle Shape area, but like, I need to register all the rules going forward, just in case. Because one of these days, I'm gonna assume I'm in Mingle Shape and I'm not, and that's gonna be bad. So anyway, this cannot be a plus. It's a 3 tiler, and it cannot be a 3 tiler like this, because that can be a plus either. And it also cannot be a 3 tiler like that, due to the same reason. So in general, it cannot go up. Wait, this can... What am I saying? This can be a plus. In fact, it cannot be a 3 tiler, because if it's a 3 tiler, it can't do that because of this tile, it can't do that because of that tile, and similarly it can't do this because of that tile, and it can't do that because of that tile. So this can't be a 1x3, it has to be a plus. It can only be a plus like that, or like that. This is no good here, because this tile being a 1x3, it can't do that. So it has to either do that, which is no good because this can be a plus. Oh, but it could do that and that could be a plus, never mind. So all we know is that this is a plus. We don't know anything. It can be a plus like this, and then that happens. And then that's a plus. I'm bifurcating, I don't want to do that. Oh, okay. This can't be a plus, because it cuts that off. So that's a 1x3. And it cannot go up, because that's no good and that's no good either. So it's a 1x3 like this. This is now a plus. Can only be... It cannot be the center of a plus. And it can't go this way, so it must go that way. This now happens. That's a 1x3. And so is that, and this can't be... It can't go this way, so it has to go there. That's a plus, can only be like that. That happens, that happens. This now, we already knew it's a plus, and now it's this plus. This is a plus, as is that. They join together, and that leaves a 3-tiler. Oh, there's a hidden puzzle inside the windmill. No shape bank, only Mingle Shape and polyamino. Polyamino. And this cannot belong to a 1x4. Oh, sorry, we're not in shape bank. We're not in shape bank, let's be careful. It could just be a 1x1. Ah, but this is what's interesting over here and here. So this is horizontal. I believe it can never go here, because then it can't do that or that, so that just doesn't happen. So it's now forced to be that. This now... Well, no, we can't. Well, we just know it doesn't go there, right? Yeah, it doesn't go there. But that doesn't tell us too much more. Here... We know this doesn't go up, because that's no good. So it must do this. This now cannot be horizontal. So it has to be vertical. So this happens. So this now cannot touch it. So that happens. This can't be horizontal now. So this happens. This now cannot touch it. So that happens. This now can't be horizontal, so that happens. This can't touch it, so that happens. This can be horizontal. What else? Oh, this can't be horizontal. Cannot touch. Can't be horizontal. Cannot touch. Can't be horizontal. Cannot touch. And we know... Oh yeah, so this... We know this will have to visit either that or that. And it cannot do this one because this gets locked in. So this and this are different regions, and this can't therefore go there, so it must be here. This now can't exist north, and even if it goes west, it still has to visit that. So these two visit. This now can't go there. And this can't go there. So this now is forced to do that. This has to happen. This can't go there. Right, this one now has to visit this no matter what. So these are the same region. This can't be horizontal, so it's vertical. This happens. This now can't go there. Must be horizontal. This happens, this happens. That cannot go there. What else do we know? I guess we know that this cannot go up, because now it couldn't do that or that. So this happens. Ah, this one. This cannot be vertical because of this. So it can't go there or there. So this is now forced. That's forced. That happens. That's forced. That happens. And now this has to be horizontal. This one cannot go up at all, because if it goes up, it can't go there or there. So this happens, that happens. And this now can't go there. Oh, also this can't go south. So this happens. This can't cut this area because of Mingle, so that happens. Oh, and this also cannot touch that. How long were these two here? And also this. I just didn't see it. So that happens. And this one can't be that. And it also can't be that, so in general it can't go that way. So this happens. This can't cut that, so that happens. This can't go north anyway, and so this happens. This can't exist, so that happens. Done. Oh, and we completed it. It's only the boss puzzle and like 2 or 3 hidden puzzles remain, huh? Okay, well, let's see what's hiding under the terrain, if anything. Is anything hiding under the terrain? Behind this tree? Yeah, well, there we go. We are in Shape Bank and Mingle Shape. So we are in Mingle Shape Bank. And this is not a gap in the board. This time, let's be careful. This is actually given tiles. So this is not a 1x1. It cannot be a 1x2 like that because of this. So it's either a 1x2 like this or it's a 2x2. Either way, these are together. And then I think we can also conclude that these are together, I believe, because... Can we? Let me think. If this is a 1x2, then this tile cannot be a 1x1 because this breaks. So this tile would have to be a 2x2. It's either a 2x2 like that or like this. If it's a 2x2 like this, this happens. And if it's a 2x2 like this, no. So this is not necessarily like that. All we know is that these two are together. Ah, this one. Should have paid attention. That happens. This happens. Oh, there's no 2x2s. What am I saying? Okay, hold on. I thought it's... yeah, but it isn't. Anyway, this still happens. This has to be the 2x3. And that has to be like this. And like this. This has to be this. This has to be that. This has to be... It cannot be a 1x1. Or no, it could. Sorry, it could. It's either a 1x1, in which case that's a 1x2 like this, or it's a 2x3, in which case this happens, but either way this happens. And now... Oh, now this cannot be a 1x2, because if it is, this obviously has to be a 1x1, and this would then have to be a 2x3, but it cannot connect with that, and so they would have to touch, and that's no good. So that's not a 1x2. So it has to be a part of a 2x3, and the only way it can be is like this, exactly. So this now happens, so that's a 1x1, and that's a 1x2, and that happens, and that happens, and that happens. And that happens, and that happens, and this happens, and this. and this, and this. That's a 1x2. That's a 1x2. This can't be a 1x2 like this, because this tile breaks. So this is a 1x2 like that. This now... This could still be a 1x2 like this. It cannot be a 1x2 like that. So it's either a 1x2 like this, or it's a 2x2, which is, I guess, what I marked at the start of the game. Either 1x2 like this, or 2x3 like that. So these are always together. This is a 1x2, can't be like that, has to be like this. This is a 2x3, so it belongs to that. That's a 1x1. That's a 1x1. That's a 1x2. And it cannot be like this, because this would break, so it's a 1x2 like that. This cannot be... Or wait, no. This... Which tile should we look at? If this is a 1x2, it's like that. And that breaks the puzzle over here, I think, because this now... It can't be a 1x1 because this tile breaks. And it can be a 1x2, so it has to be a 2x3, which has no space. So this cannot be a 1x2, because it can't be a 1x2 in any direction. It also can't be a 1x1, so it has to be a 2x3. 2x3s expand at least size 2 off a wall. And we now know its vertical orientation. It could be this. It's fine north. And I want to say it's fine south. Is there a reason why this seems fine as well? Is this broken somehow? Yeah, this is broken. So we know that's a 2x3. And we know this has to be a 1x1, because if it's a 2x3, it's a part of that one, and that's no good, because this is forced to be a 1x1. And the issue there is that this now cannot be anything. So this has to be a 1x1. Therefore, this is a 2x3. And therefore this happens. That's how that happens, that happens, that happens. This can't go there, has to go here. I wasn't done. This can't be a 1x1 because this breaks, but it can't be a 1x2 either. So it's a 2x3, and it can only fit there. Nice. Okay. What else is hidden in this area? That's the boss puzzle. Is this a new region? Mingle Precision, so that is a new region. And this? Precision Polyomino. Oh, it's the 3 combinations of the 3 rules we just learned. I didn't mean to click that in the top right corner. What else is hidden? If any? We're at +1. Oh, there. Mingle Rose. Mingle Rose, and there is at least 2, 4, 6, 8. There are exactly 8 regions. And each region is at least size 2. So that's at least 16 tiles out of how many? 5 times 5 is 25 minus 2 is 23. So out of the 23, at least 16 are present. And the remaining 7 can enable us to have different shapes. Okay, but these two necessarily belong to a 1x2, right? No, that's not true. This one necessarily belongs to a 1x2 because if it picks this up, it's done. If it picks this up, it's done. If it picks this one up, it's done. And if it picks this, these have to be together. If it picks this, these have to be together. So the only way these are not together is if this picks it. But then this has to pick this because it can't get out elsewhere. But it can be the same shape, so it would have to do that. So if this picks that, these are together. And if this picks this, this happens. And if it picks this, then this happens again. So this always happens. If it picks this, this happens, and this happens. If it picks this, then this... if it picks that, this couldn't go here, so it would have to go here and here. And if it picks here, again, this can't go there, because it would be the same shape. So it will go there and this would happen, so this always happens. Then... what else do we know? What am I missing here? Well, let's look at this. It either visits this and it's done, in which case this happens, or it visits this and it's done. But this could still happen, right? So we can't say that this is the case. Because here, this can still happen. Let's go back. I see an issue. So the issue is that... wait, go back further. The issue is between these two, I think. So we know that this one is forced to be a 1x2 in some way, but this one is actually also forced to be a 1x2 in some way. Here it can't expand further, here it cannot expand further. Same here, same here. Which means that these two cannot see each other, so this must happen. Sorry, this must happen. So now this must happen. This must happen. This must happen. And now this cannot happen because it would become a 1x2. So this happens. And then also this cannot happen because it would be a 1 by 2. So this happens and this happens. And similarly, this can't happen because it would be a 1 by 2. So this happens. This can't be a 1 by 2, it must expand. This can't be a 1 by 2, so it must expand. Can't go there. This can't be a 1 by 3, so it must expand. This is forced to be a 1 by 3. Now what? This can't go there because it would force this to come out and this would become a 1 by 2, which is no good. So that happens, that happens. It can be a 1 by 2, has to expand. Cannot touch that, that has to expand. This can't have this shape, so it has to go there, and that's all the tiles. Done. Was that this one? Or what was it? I don't even know what puzzle. Oh, it was this one, was it? No, that's polyomino. What did I just solve? I have no idea what I just solved. But we solved something. We solved something belonging to this area because we're up to +2 right now. Oh, look. There's a hidden puzzle down there. Shape Mingle Rose. Okay. Oh, shape. Only those shapes. Okay, so that's interesting. So this can't be a part of a 2 by 2 because it breaks. It also cannot be a 3-tiler because all 3 tile. Oh no, it could. Sorry, it could be that or that. Can it be an LJ though? Yeah, like this or like that. Let's look to this instead. This is clearly an LJ because it cannot satisfy itself with the other 2 shapes. So if this is an LJ, it's either that or... Well, it could also be this though. Well, let's just mark in that's an LJ. Same thing here. That's also an LJ. This can only hit... yeah, this can only reach a circle using an LJ, but it's no good if it reaches one of these circles because it can be part of that LJ. So it must satisfy itself with that circle as an LJ. So now this can't be an LJ. So it's either that. It can't be this. It's either that or that. In both cases, it's this. So this now is not LJ. So it's either that or it's this. In both cases, it picks this up, and in both cases, this happens. Also, we are aware of this. We know this can't be a 2 by 2. What else do we see? Aha. This square cannot pick up either of these circles, I believe. If it picks up this circle, then already in here we have trouble. And if it tries to pick up that circle, it would have to avoid that, and that's no good either. So this has to be like that. And also, it must pick up this circle, therefore, because it cannot go through that or through that. And so it cannot access any other circle except through here. So now this happens. this happens. And so now this is either... So this can't be an LJ like that, because it would touch that. If it goes here, it's already an LJ, so that's not good. It must do that. And it must be at least size 3, because of the shape bank. Has to do this, cannot expand further, so it is complete. This now sees both other shapes, so it's this shape. This sees both other shapes, so it's this shape. This cannot be an LJ. And it also cannot be a 3-tiler, because it would do that and it would cut that off. So it must be this, and this must be this. This has to expand. And it's either, and it sees with both others, so it's either an LJ like that, which is no good because it isolates this. So it must be an LJ like this. This circle cannot reach that square, so these two belong to the same region. And they cannot be a 3-tiler like that. So either they're a 3-tiler like that, or they're a 2x2 like that. In both cases, they must visit this. And they cannot visit that. This sees both other shapes, so it's a 2x2. This has to do that now. This comes out, this comes out. And they see both other shapes, so they complete. I wasn't done. This now is forced to be a 2x2. Now I'm done. Thank you, game. So we're at +3, and with the boss puzzle, we're at +4. Do we give up searching for more then, because +4 is the highest we've had before? Or do we still search for more? I think we do not search for more. I think I've searched enough. I really hope that this vertical stuff doesn't come back to bite us with some stuff being hidden in there that was locked before, and it's like you can barely see it, but now that you've completed another area, it will now be shining a light that should lead you to it. I hope I don't have to like backtrack and go back and search down there. Let's just do the boss puzzle. Mingle Shape polyomino with given 1x1s. That's all the 1x1s. So, where do we look next? These are not the same, neither are those. Okay, I think I see something. Let's just remember we do not exist in Shape Bank, but we do exist in Mingle Shape, and Mingle Shape itself is quite powerful. And so what I see is that this cannot go south, because now it can pick up at most one of... Well, it can only pick that up. This would be forced to be a 1x3, so that happens. Now this can't be a 1x1, so it must expand, and neither can that, so it must expand, but it also can't be a 3-tiler, so it must expand further. And it cannot pick that up, but it also can't be that shape, so it must expand even further. And now it forces this to happen, because this cannot happen, because... Sorry. This cannot happen because of that, so this must happen. This one... We don't know. What now? Oh, sorry, this can't go south. This can't be a 1x1. It can't be a 1x2. So it must expand further. We don't know yet which way. Could even be both ways, we'll see. All we know is that this doesn't happen. So... But that doesn't help us because this can still happen, this can still happen, this can still happen. So nothing is guaranteed yet. We do know this has to expand, and we know it can't go there, but it also cannot stop, so this has to happen. We know it can't go there and it cannot stop, so this has to happen. We know it cannot go there and cannot stop, so this has to happen. And again, it has to go there, and again it has to go there. Wait, does it? Yeah, that's no good. But this is no good either, right? 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4. No, that's fine. It could be that. But this happens, it cannot stop. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, it cannot stop. So it has to go at least here. Now this one always has to pick that up, I believe. Because if it doesn't, it locks it away and it can't be a 1x1, so it always visits it. This has to be there, this has to be here. What else do we know? I believe this can't be horizontal because it kills this. Also this can't even go there, I think. Or no, it could, because it can do that. Ah, but it... Okay, so if it goes there, it's exactly this. And if it doesn't go there, then it's exactly this. Either way, this part of it is given. And this is given. So now this has to be that. And so now this has to be a part of that. And that's done. This can't be a 1x2, so it expands. It can't be a 3-tiler. So it either goes there or here. Or both. We don't know yet which. This. If it goes in this direction, it can't go further. And now it just breaks, so it can never go like that. And if it tries to avoid going to this tile, let's just look at that first. It cannot avoid going to that tile because now it just doesn't have enough. So it must go to that tile, but it cannot go to this tile. Because now this is the most it can get. So it cannot go there. And so now it cannot do this. And now it's isolated. So it must complete itself like this. Wait, it's not 6 tiles, it's 5. Okay, then let's backtrack because I thought it was 6 tiles. Well, maybe everything I said is still fine. Let's look at it again. If it avoids... No, not everything I said is fine because it could exist like this. Okay. We do know this. So then it's either that, or if it visits this tile, then it's exactly that. Either way, it must collect all 3 of those. The only question is which orientation it does it in. Well, if it does it northbound, then that's fine. If it does it southbound... then it's still fine. Yeah, on the inside, I mean. Okay. This cannot be vertical, so it cannot visit there. Oh, these are not together. This is forced to be vertical. Even if it goes there, it still has to go at least this far. Same story with that. It must go at least that far. This can't go south, because if it does, then its 1x3 cannot be vertical, so it would have to be horizontal exactly here. Or here, and in both cases, here it would need that, which is no good. Here it would need that, which is no good. If it tried to be vertical, then it's no good. So this just can't go south at all. So this happens. And now the 1x3, if it's vertical, then it's that exactly. And if it is horizontal, then it's that exactly. So it's either this shape or it's this shape. So the only question is between... So that's one version. That's the other. So the only question is between these two tiles. But the rest is all the same. So now this can go at most that far, so it has to go out here. This is now forced to do this. This is now forced to do this. This can't go there or there, so it goes there. In fact, we knew that from the beginning. I just didn't notice it. This can't go there or there, so it goes there. Ah, I managed to break the puzzle. How far back do I have to go? Let's go back this far, because I think the stuff I did on the left is hopefully fine. What did I break the puzzle with? So this can't go there or there, so it goes there, obviously. This cannot be a 1x1, but it also cannot go south. So it must escape in this direction, which causes this to happen. And this. And this has to expand further. It cannot go there. But now this is broken. Oh, there was this version. Okay, that's where I broke it, is that I didn't see that there was one more. So now this can only exist because, you know, it can't go there. Its vertical cannot, or its 1x3 cannot be here. And its 1x3 has to be touching this tile somewhere. So if it's not part of that tile, then it must be here exactly. And then it forces this shape. That has to expand. And it cannot go there because this couldn't be anything, so it must be this exactly. This can't be a 1x1 or a 1x2. So it has to take up these tiles. This can't go there, it must go there. This can't be a 1x3, must expand. Can't be a 1x4, must expand. Cannot expand into either of those because then the other shape. So that happens. That happens. Can't be a 1x4, must expand. Cannot stop there because it would see a 1x5, but it also cannot take the 1x5. So must do this. Right now it can't stop because it would be a 1x5. No, it could, sorry. Could stop. Oh, this is this and it's complete. This now can't have its horizontal piece there. Or sorry, the long piece cannot be horizontal. So it must be vertical. It must be exactly this. This one needs the horizontal piece. Cannot expand north. Must expand south and be complete. That's a 1x5. That's now forced to be like that. That's that. Those are both 1x1s. This can't be a 1x1, so that thing has to pick it up. That's not a 1x1, so it expands. It's not a 1x2, and it can't go south, so it must join to this, which now completes. That's like that. That's not a 1x1, it expands. It's not a 1x2. This can't go here because it would not be part of either of those shapes, but it also can't be a 3-tiler. So it can't stop. Otherwise, a 1x2 must go there. Now has to be a 1x4, and it has to go there. This 1x2 can't go north, so that's a 1x1. Has to go south. And this region cannot be a 1x1, cannot be a 1x2, cannot be a 3-tiler. Previously, it could have escaped here. It can't, so it must join together with this shape. Okay, this can't do that because of this, and it can't do that because of this. So it simply cannot visit this tile. But we also know it cannot visit south, so it could do that. It could do this. But either way it does that. Or wait, no, it could also do this. Can't it? Yes, it can. So we don't know anything. We just know it can't go south and it cannot pick this up. So we just know that these two are different colors. This can't be like that. So or like that. So in general, it cannot pick this up, right? Because if it picks that up, it's either that, which is no good, or that, which is no good. So it cannot pick that up. So those two are different colors. It could be vertical. It always has to pick this up, I think. Yeah, it does. And this has to belong to purple or to blue. If it belongs to blue, then blue is a 1x2, which is okay. And if it belongs to purple, then purple is in this orientation. And at first glance, this also looks okay. So we don't know. Okay, let's tackle these shapes here. Oh, sorry. So, right. These are the same shape, so they always have to be together. And so now this, neither of these can expand there. Same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. So now this is either that or it's that. Either way, it's this, I believe. it cannot avoid picking that up, so it must pick it up. Now this has to pick that up somehow. And this cannot happen, so that must happen. We knew that already from earlier. And now, by the power of uniqueness, I know that this must happen. Because if this did not happen, or sorry, no, I don't even need uniqueness logic for that. We can see that either, well, no. Yeah, between these two shapes, we see that if this does that, this happens, and if, so like, the two versions of this shape is either that, or that, and in both cases, this is occupied by one of these two, so we know this, and we know this can't be a 1x2, so it does that. But I think we could have derived from uniqueness as well that this has to be a 1x3. Or rather that it needs to be blocked from the south, because if it's not blocked from the south, then... No, actually, we saw that it has to be a 1x3 just because it's touching a 1x2, and it's already a 1x2 at least. Anyway, let's just continue. Okay, this can only exist like that. And so now that happens, and that happens, and that happens. Oh, and the puzzle is broken. Why is the puzzle broken? Where did I break the puzzle? Did I put some bad borders? So this can't happen because it can't pick all of them up. That can't happen because it would touch. This can't happen because it can't pick all of them up. This can't happen because it would touch. This can't happen because it can't pick all of them up. This can't happen because they would touch. This can't happen because it can't pick all of them up. This can't happen because they would touch. This can't happen because it can't pick all of them up. This can't happen because they would touch. This can't happen because they can't pick all of them up. Touch. Oh, this can happen. Sorry, this can happen. In fact, this must happen. So these are the same. These must be like that. These must exist like that. This now is forced to be like this. This now is forced to be like that. This happens and this happens. These must exist like this. This happens, this happens. These cannot exist like that, so they must exist like this. This happens, this happens, this happens. This can't block this area off, so it must exist like that. And then we have 3 tiles remaining. And we cannot include a 1x1 in them, because if a 1x1 is here, that's a 1x2 2, which is bad. If a 1x1 is here, there are 2 1x1s left, which is bad. 1x1 here, 1x2, which is bad. So no 1x1 included. Can also not include a 1x2, so must be a 1x3. Done. Nice. So that concludes this area. What was that sound? This one? Or is there a hidden puzzle there? No, I don't see anything. Is there a hidden puzzle behind the mirror? No. They've already used that trick before. Okay. Cool. That was fun. And now, what happens next, it would seem, is that we combine the previous 3 rules, being precision, polyomino, and mingle shape. We combine them in various ways, which this region avoided. Or no, it had polyomino. It did use polyomino. So, precision polyomino, mingle precision, precision polyomino. What? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, point is, we get more puzzles, we're happy. We conclude with 3 boss puzzles and then 1 Omega boss. So, yeah, we're gonna continue there next time. There's no tutorial here because we already know all these rules. Is this floating, this blocks? Fascinating. Alright, I'm excited to continue there tomorrow. I'm really excited to see these upcoming boss puzzles, but more importantly, I'm really excited about whatever this behemoth is. I guess something I did not think about until now is that the reason the boss puzzle boxes are larger is in fact because the board is larger in all of them, isn't it? The larger the box, the larger the table, the larger the board. Is that a thing? Or is it just... I mean, you know, if it obeyed the rules of physics, then that would be a thing, but like here, it doesn't have to be a thing. Like they could have a 2x2 size board that visually expands to fill the table that it's on, no matter how large or small the table is, So I'm not sure. I don't know whether this table being so large means that we should expect a really large puzzle in terms of actual board dimensions. I guess we will see once we get there. Is there stuff that's gonna be hidden down there? We will see. Anyway, that is all for now. How far are we? 227. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.